For too long, Africa's story has been pushed to the margins, drowned out by tales of European conquest, Asian dynasties, and Middle Eastern glory. But hidden within the sands of time lies a continent that gave birth to some of the world's most powerful empires. These were civilizations of brilliance, strength, and legacy, shaping not just Africa, but the course of human history. Join us as we unveil the untold rise and the thunderous fall of Africa's legendary empires. This is more than history. This is Africa's true legacy. Before the colonial narrative rewrote the past, Africa was a land of majestic empires, towering monuments, global trade routes, and scholarly excellence. While Western education glorifies Athens and Rome as the pinnacles of civilization, it often silences the story of Africa's greatness. Yet, long before colonialism, long before European conquests, African empires were shaping the world. From the black pharaohs of Kush, who once ruled all of Egypt, to the golden courts of Mali, where scholars debated astronomy and theology, to the stone marvels of Great Zimbabwe that rivaled medieval castles, Africa was, and is, a cradle of civilization. In this film, we take you across the continent to uncover the epic stories of 5 African kingdoms that not only matched Rome and Greece, but in many ways surpassed them. Let the truth rise. If you enjoy this journey through African greatness, hit that like button, share it with those who need to hear it, and subscribe for more. Your support fuels our mission to bring Africa's voice back to the center of the world stage. Number 1, the Kingdom of Kush, the Black Pharaohs of the Nile. The Kingdom of Kush, centered in Nubia, what we now call Sudan, rose from the sands of the Nile Valley to become a force that would shake Egypt to its core. It emerged in power after the decline of Egypt's new kingdom around 1070 BCE, and soon developed its own distinct culture, art, and political system. The Kushites were more than neighbors to Egypt. They were conquerors, rulers, and restorers. During the 25th dynasty, Kushite kings such as Paye and Taharka didn't just rule Egypt, they revived it. These black pharaohs rebuilt temples, preserved ancient customs, and stood toe-to-toe with Assyrian invaders. Their reign represented a renaissance of Nile Valley power. Their capital cities, Napata and later Meroe, were centers of religious and intellectual life. The pyramids of Meroe, steeper and more numerous than those in Egypt, still stand as silent witnesses to their engineering brilliance. Meroe became known for its iron production, symbolizing a leap in technology and industry. Kush was Africa rising, a civilization of warriors, priests, and builders who left behind more than pyramids. They left behind pride. Number 2, the Aksumite Empire, East Africa's global power. Perched high in the Ethiopian highlands, the Aksumite Empire emerged as one of the world's greatest powers from the 1st to the 10th century CE. Roman records spoke of Aksum in the same breath as Rome, Persia, and China. And for good reason. Aksum controlled Red Sea trade routes, connecting the African interior to India, Arabia, and the Mediterranean. It traded gold, ivory, spices, and incense. The empire minted its own coins, proof of a stable, state-controlled economy, and developed the Ge'ez script, which is still used in Ethiopian liturgy today. Perhaps most remarkable was Aksum's early adoption of Christianity. King Ezana, in the 4th century, made it the state religion, decades before much of Europe followed suit. This spiritual transformation reshaped Ethiopian identity forever. Its monumental obelisks, some weighing over 500 tons, demonstrate astonishing architectural prowess. These stelae weren't just markers of graves, they were symbols of imperial might. Aksum was not just a kingdom, it was a global powerhouse with vision, faith, and innovation. Number 3. The Mali Empire, Empire of Gold and Knowledge. When people speak of wealth in history, they often forget the name Mansa Musa, but they shouldn't. The 14th century emperor of Mali is widely considered the richest man who ever lived. The Mali Empire, born in the 13th century, stretched across West Africa, flourishing on the wealth of gold mines and mastery of trans-Saharan trade. Under Mansa Musa, Mali became the crown jewel of the Islamic world. His pilgrimage to Mecca in 1324 stunned the world. He distributed so much gold that he triggered a temporary economic crisis in Cairo. But Mali's greatness wasn't just in gold, it was in knowledge. Timbuktu became a sanctuary for scholars from across Africa and the Islamic world. Sankore University attracted thinkers in medicine, astronomy, law, and philosophy. Its manuscripts, written in Arabic and Ajami, revealed a world of African scholarship hidden from Western curricula. Mali stood for prosperity, learning, and pride. It was a beacon for a continent whose story had barely begun to be told. Number 4. The Kingdom of Great Zimbabwe, the stone enigma of the South. In the heart of southern Africa, between the Limpopo and Zambezi rivers, rose a stone kingdom whose grandeur stunned early explorers. Great Zimbabwe, built by the ancestors of the Shona people, thrived from the 11th to the 15th century. The kingdom's centerpiece was the Great Enclosure, a vast elliptical structure built with no mortar, its walls standing up to 36 feet high. These stones weren't just architecture, they were authority. They symbolized a civilization grounded in order, innovation, and royal power. Great Zimbabwe was a commercial giant. Its influence stretched to the Swahili coast, Arabia, and even China. Archaeologists have uncovered Chinese porcelain and Arab coins among its ruins, evidence of its role in a global trade network. Its economy revolved around cattle, gold, and trade. Its people lived in organized communities, practiced spiritual traditions, and honored sacred kingship. This was not a lost tribe, this was a nation, a city of stone and spirit. Number 5. The Carthaginian Empire, North Africa's forgotten giant. Founded by Phoenician settlers in the 9th century BCE, Carthage grew into a North African titan that dominated the Western Mediterranean for centuries. Situated in modern Tunisia, it was a civilization of seafarers, traders, and statesmen. Carthage was Rome's fiercest rival. Its navy ruled the seas. Its generals were legendary, and none more so than Hannibal Barca, who marched war elephants across the Alps in one of the most audacious military campaigns in history. He nearly destroyed Rome itself. Carthaginian society was complex. They had elected magistrates, a senate, and structured laws. Their religion was deep-rooted, involving rituals, temples, and devotion to deities like Baal Hammon and Tanit. Their agricultural techniques and city planning were so advanced that Rome adopted many after defeating them. Though Rome razed Carthage in 146 BCE, its legacy remains embedded in African history. It was not simply a Phoenician outpost. It was an African empire, one that deserves to be remembered. For centuries, the world has been taught to look to Rome for law, to Greece for philosophy, and to Europe for civilization. But that is not the whole truth. Africa, too, was home to great empires. Empires that built universities while Europe was still in darkness. Empires that traded across oceans, ruled with justice, and worshipped with devotion. These were not myths. They were real, they were powerful, and they were ours. It is time to teach our children that African history did not begin with slavery. It began with sovereignty, with pyramids and palaces, with gold and glory, with ink and intellect. Let us restore the memory of our ancestors. Let us rebuild our pride in their name. Because when we remember who we were, we will rise again into who we were always meant to be. Africa's kingdoms were not behind, they were ahead, and their time has come again. If this truth moved you, share it. Let your voice echo across the digital age like the drums of old. Subscribe to our channel, join the movement to reclaim our legacy, and be part of a generation that refuses to let history be forgotten. Together, let's make the world remember what Africa gave and what it still has to give. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in our next video.